What's up, guys? It's your boy Palacio,
It's the boy Eli.
and we back for episode 5.
Cinco.
This is 5, episode 5. Eli, tell me what we talk about today.
Oh, you already know I wore this hoodie for a special reason. We got that boy, Kyrie Irving.
And it's crazy because we were just talking about it, Saturday?
Yeah.
And then manifested it into reality, man.
So on Saturday, he had a baby shower. I don't want to give too much info, but he had a baby shower, whatever. Probably saw it on socials or whatnot. But I was talking to his stepdad, and I was just like, the Mavs are going to get Kyrie. And he was like, no. Lakers can offer a better package, this, that, and the other. I was like, no, watch. We're going to get him because we offer the best win-now package, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could give them the players that can continue to compete in the East, especially with Kevin Durant coming back. We can give them better pieces than what any other team could.
You think that there's going to be any, not like personal conflict, but like conflict when it comes to like handling the ball or who has the ball, obviously with Luka?
Truthfully, no. And a lot of people are trying to spin that narrative.
Yeah.
But Kyrie has played with LeBron and Durant in his career, which are both two ball dominant players. And LeBron is a willing passer, don't get me wrong, but Luka is just as good. And I mean, you could argue he might be a better passer. Maybe not right now, but like down the line, just the way Luka.
How do you think he is
handles
in
the
his
offense.
career? Obviously, like not in his prime.
I think he's like still. I would say he probably still has at least 3 more years.
Yeah.
In his prime, but Kyrie is not a player that's really based on athleticism.
I think he's very athletic.
Well, he's athletic, but Kyrie's game is very skill. Like, it's very skill based. Like the way he handles the ball and his footwork and everything like that. So once Kyrie loses his quickness and whatnot, he'll still be a very good shooter, no matter what. Still be a very good playmaker, no matter what. He's very high IQ NBA player. So like on the court fit, I feel like this is going to be a perfect match because this is going to get Luka off the ball so much where Luka can kind of.
He ain't gonna be hitting them 60-point games.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's all fun, to watch Luka go crazy, but it's not a sustainable play style to win in this league.
Count on that.
No, I mean, we saw with James Harden. James Harden was going crazy, 50-point triple doubles in Houston and whatnot, but it's not something you can win a championship with.
Yeah. So
I'm super excited about the fit with him and Kyrie. Obviously, we lost a really good defender in Dorian, which kind of sucks. Homegrown talent, but when you have a chance to get a player like Kyrie,
it's the nature of the game, man.
Yeah, it's just someone on Kyrie's stature, and even like the local media, they're having news crews out there for Mark Cuban's playing to touchdown if they're going to pick him up from New Jersey. So like, this is a big deal. This is arguably the 3rd best player that will ever play for this franchise.
Yeah.
After Luka and Dirk. Like, no one even comes close to being the caliber player Kyrie is.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at 2007 when they won the championship?
11 is when they won, but 2007 is when we won. The next best player after Dirk, you would argue, Jason.
Steve Nash.
Even at that,
you think?
I mean, I'm not biased, but Nash has never touched these career numbers that Kyrie has.
I mean, obviously you watch basketball a lot more than I do, so
yeah.
I trust your opinion on it. Obviously, we have the Super Bowl on Sunday coming up. So, what are your predictions? Eagles versus Chiefs.
I'm an Eagles hater. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I am too.
I got a cousin who's an Eagles fan, so if you're watching this, cousin, I hope the Eagles lose. And I have a coworker who don't shut the hell up about the Eagles.
So I work on Sunday, but I'm probably gonna try to watch the game when in my downtime. And other than it being like a event, it's cool to have Super Bowl parties and all that.
Yeah,
I just want them to lose just because they're Eagles and Cowboys fan. And then Patrick Mahomes. He's
that's the baby goat.
He's living up to his expectations. I mean, it's wild.
Yeah, I've always said ever since like his first Super Bowl run, I was like, this dude's gonna be the best quarterback to ever play this game.
Well,
so I need him to win these rings.
He's got a lot. Excuse me. He's got a lot to match up to with Tom Brady. I mean,
yeah, but
that man is Thanos with the rings. So
Tom Brady hater as well. A little biased about that, but like just the talent Mahomes is, the way he throws the ball, his arm talent is. I think it's gonna be a really, really good game. The Eagles defense, for being serious, the Eagles defense is phenomenal. They have a legitimate defense. The front four is crazy. The defense on the back end with Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson back there, and Bradbury has been playing amazing. And then with the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill, that was their best weapon other than Kelsey. So now they kind of have like a bunch of speedsters on the outside. So it's gonna be interesting to see how those teams really match up against each other, the offense and the defense, and even the Eagles' offense is pretty dynamic. Yeah, the way they move the ball with the run pass option with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. So it's gonna be a good game. I think it's gonna be high scoring. I think it's gonna be pretty high scoring.
You putting any money on the game?
Hell no, I don't care enough. Because like, I want Mahomes to win. Like that's why I'm gonna tune in because I want to see Mahomes be great and match those expectations people are putting on him. Because I think he's phenomenal. I don't care who really wins.
Yeah, it was like, so I work on Sunday. It wouldn't be like unless the Cowboys would have went to the Super Bowl. Like I would have took off that day just to watch them.
Yeah, never see that.
I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it. It's like 27 years running. We them boys. We got them next year. But yeah, it'll be fun. Did they say who the halftime show is?
Yeah, it's Rihanna. Oh, Rihanna's coming back.
I mean, I'm not hating. She has a great voice. What was that new song she did for the new Black Panther movie?
Oh shit, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen new Black Panther?
No.
It was worth watching, but that's a whole different topic. But she had a good song at the end, and she has an incredible voice. But it's like I don't listen to Rihanna. For like I'm not blasting that music in my car, but I mean, respect the talent. I mean, she's got a great voice.
And she's hot.
And speaking of gambling, we were just talking about it last podcast too, and the decision to try to get casinos and gambling.
Oh yeah, how Texas is trying
to make it legal now. Like we were just talking about that last week, so I don't know what we're. Maybe everybody is listening to
who's watching these.
Yeah, who's watching? Who's out of the 20 people that watch our podcast?
I got some more ideas. Come talk to me.
Low key, Greg Abbott be watching our podcast.
All right, maybe don't come talk to me.
But I'd like to see it. We were just talking about doing one of our friends' bachelor party at WinStar because I'd like to do Vegas, but Vegas is a whole thing. But like. Casinos in Texas would be I feel like they'd be a great option.
Hell yeah.
It's just like we kind of went at links about it last time, but like just go for a weekend or do something with the boys.
Yeah,
it's different. I know they're having new Universal Studios in Frisco. I mean, like me personally, that's just gonna bring more traffic than it's worth. I mean, people here probably go one time and then be like, all right.
Well, thankfully it's in Frisco. It's not like too much in this area.
Yeah,
but if they did like the casino, I wonder where they would put it. Like you
want to take a guess and then they'll listen to the podcast and then put it there.
I mean, like if we're gonna think about it, obviously we got like 3 to 4 major cities: Dallas, Austin, Houston, San Antonio.
Mm-hmm. Fort Worth is kind of in there, not doing those numbers, but
yeah. But I mean, I would think a lot of people group Fort Worth with Dallas. I just kind of throw it in there.
I would think Houston. Would be the spot. I think
I'm thinking if they do it, Houston would be the first place.
I feel like Dallas is a little. Both cities are congested, but Houston would be like a little better spot, and then Austin, I think it's a little too left to have casinos in their city.
Yeah, with Austin, I don't know if it's the vibe of the city because for those who've been to Austin, Austin has a very, like different kind of vibe than the rest of the cities in Texas. Even compared to Dallas. It's not like a Republican or Democratic thing, but it's just like it's just the energy of the city. Like it's hard to explain that the energy of the city is really different compared to other cities.
Yeah, it's like one of the few cities where people like walk around Whole Food type, and
and like the whole Keep Austin Weird thing. Like it's a whole different kind of culture over there.
And I think if you threw a bunch of drunk people in a casino, in the middle of that, they really wouldn't feel it. I don't think Austin would. Yeah, because
I don't think it would bring the crowd that Austin has typically.
Yeah, and they don't really need the tourism because people already go to Austin for Austin, so it's not like one more thing.
Yeah, so I'm Dallas or Houston would probably be the first place I would. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, what else? Besides the Texans, what else do they really have as like a tourist type? I can't really think of anything.
You got the Asterix.
The what?
The Asterix, the Houston Asterix, the baseball team.
Bro, I live here and I don't even.
Well, they're cheaters.
Come on, bro. Oh, you mean the Asteroids? Yeah. Okay, I was like Asterix.
They're the Asterix.
Who are you talking about? Is that
because they're cheaters?
AAA team?
They should be.
But
Houston probably be a good spot.
Yeah,
I need to go to Houston anyways.
Actually, I've never been to Houston.
I've only been for Astrofest, and like I didn't really get to explore Houston how I wanted to.
Yeah,
because like the culture of Houston with the music and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to like take a deep dive and
speaking of music, I checked out that song that you recommended last time. I was feeling it. I
Right?
I've vibed too. I've listened to it like legitimately at least 10 times since the last.
I gotta see
like
the
it gets
playlist.
kind of better every single time.
Like it's the whole
It's a
playlist,
vibe.
bro, is vibey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been my wave recently. Like not get away from rap music, but like in the mornings when I wake up, like I don't want to hear about how
Yeah.
rich someone is or whatnot. Like I'm trying to change it, put me in like a different kind of headspace
Yeah.
when I wake up and whatnot.
Yeah, I was working with somebody because my normal partner's on vacation right now, who listens to like reggae almost exclusively, but
Mhm.
not like traditional reggae. It's more like country reggae and that type of feel. And I told him about it, and he was vibing to it too. It was like, I don't know, that kind of music is just like more uplifty and more. It's more like about the music. I mean, obviously all music's about the music, but it's not like trying to portray something,
Yeah,
It's kind of hard
just
to
the
do that in
vibes.
rap. It's like you have to like put something out there, and it's like, this is my statement. It's just more just like feel good music,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was vibing to it for sure. For the ice storm, it kind of like started on Monday, and I got off of work Monday night, so I missed like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I went back to work on Friday. But I got the tail end of it. Like it wasn't like crazy.
Oh yeah,
like
because you
Tuesday,
like that
Wednesday,
was just like
Thursday
your normal days off.
Yeah. And it was pretty wild. Like there was ambulances getting stuck in the Fort Worth fire. Had to like pull them out. Like that was kind of regular. And I think it's just like the unpreparedness, and it's no fault of Texas. Like it gets like 120 degrees up like in the summer sometimes, so people aren't used to driving. But it's like nobody knows how to drive. Like nobody, like they don't even have the slightest clue of like what is work. It surprised me how many people were going out to like go to a restaurant, and it was like Wednesday, the dead in the middle. Like, why are you gonna risk,
Yeah.
getting
Wednesday
hurt?
was insane. I didn't even try to drive. I was like, I made it up my mind. I'm just gonna kick it at the house.
I stayed there. I stayed home all 3 days. Like I didn't go nowhere.
Well, Tuesday I worked,
Mm-hmm.
and then it wasn't that bad Tuesday until I got off. Cause on my way home, I was like, I need to stop and get food because I'm like trying to be a responsible adult, but I'm not super responsible, and I didn't go grocery shopping to prepare for this, even though I knew it was coming. So I was like, let me just stop, grab some food, and I'm just kick it out the house, play 2K all night, and then I only get it stuck like on a hill trying to get out of Whataburger.
Really?
Yeah, so I had to like do some swift maneuvering.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, like your boy was a CDL holder for a little bit. I just I don't want to brag, but I'm like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do some quick maneuvering, and I got out because I'm like that.
Mm. Well, on Monday, I had to drive one of the like F-250s because my partner and the other medic were going to the hospital. I was following behind him, and we had to go like on an overpass, and even cars were going like 5-10 miles an hour. You were still like the ass end of the vehicle is just like back and forth like at least 7 or 8 times. And I kept on telling myself, I was just breathing. I was like, you're not gonna crash. You're fine. Just keep going and try not to psych myself out because it's scary.
Oh yeah, it was one of those things too. Like when it's icy like that, you really can't use brakes all too much because if your brakes lock up and you get to sliding, kind of SOL.
Well, and the other thing too is like, don't go to a complete stop. Like, you have to go more than 2 miles an hour in order to get up there. And if you don't, your tires are just gonna start spinning. Like you need traction, and the momentum is carrying you forward. So why stop the momentum?
Yeah.
And like, I know it's scary, but you gotta. It's almost counterintuitive. So I don't know.
One of the things too that like we're never taught how to drive in this weather.
Never taught how to drive. Period. In school.
That's true.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't know if it's a Texas thing, but we haven't like obviously never had driver's ed, and that used to be like a regular thing in schools. I think it's been so long, I don't even like know if it's right, but you used to go and do driver's ed at school and then get your license through that, right? Like it wasn't like private academies and stuff like that. At least that's how I understand it.
I'm a baby, I don't know.
With that beard, look like 40 years old. He's actually like 2 years younger than I am, and he's got that full ass beard like he's had 7 kids.
Yeah, I know, and I have all these white hairs coming in too. I fucking hate it. I'm not a fan of this. I need
The
some
white hairs?
Huh? Yeah, dude, I have like 6 or 7.
Really?
Like just coming in. And like whenever like I go like get my haircut and whatnot, my barber's like, do you want me to cut the white hairs? I'm like, please, can you just dye them?
Gotta get that just for men.
For real. At fucking 26 years old. But over that storm though, like I was texting you because we didn't do a pod over the storm. I live like 30 minutes away. I was not gonna drive over here Tuesday or Wednesday. Y'all got me fucked up. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what it is. So I've seen a lot of people talk about how they get sick and they've been congested for like 2-3 weeks afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I saw a bunch of that stuff like on Twitter, TikTok. I was like, what are y'all talking about? Like I haven't heard nobody or talked to anybody who got sick and just been sick for a minute. I got sick.
That's my dogs, man. My big ass dog. Go ahead.
And I ended up getting sick the Thursday before the ice storm. Mm-hmm. I'm still dealing with this goddamn congestion and like dealing with like mucus and everything. Right. I've been taking Sudafed, been taking Dayquil, taking NyQuil, taking vitamins. I'm taking it all. I'm drugging myself up, and like nothing seems to help. I want to buy some vapor tablets, try to drain out like this congestion. Nothing's working.
You get them Vicks rub,
bro. Yes, like I have Vicks.
With the chest, the sauna.
Bro, look, listen. I think it was like Friday or Saturday, one of the two. I ended up coming down with a fever, and like I got super congested. Like, that was probably my worst days. Mm-hmm. I legit had like Vicks all in my nose, like trying to open my nasal passageway. It was so bad. It felt like when I had COVID, because when I had COVID, like I completely blocked up. I couldn't breathe unless it was out of my mouth, and that's how I was feeling. Like I even took an at-home COVID test, and it was negative, but it's like, what the?
Could have been the flu. I don't know.
No, there's no way, because I wasn't like dying. I mean, I was dying, but I wasn't like.
What else we got?
I wouldn't even talk about the Chinese air balloon thing. Have you seen that?
I don't know the actual story. Like so tell me about it. From what I understand, it was like someone was saying there was like a moon or something out, and then they were saying like it was a Chinese spy drone.
So yeah, apparently the Chinese are saying like it was a temperature thing, like something for like the temperature.
Where was it at?
It came from, so like I saw this thing. It said it came from like the islands in Alaska, worked its way through Alaska, came down part of Canada, went over I don't want to say the wrong city and like kind of mess things up, but it went over a city that had like launch sites. Like it went right over that, like nuclear launch sites, and then it went through like the middle of America, and then it got shot down in South Carolina, I want to say.
Oh, they shot it down?
Yeah, they shot it down.
Did they see it was just a balloon, or?
Yeah, well, they're going to collect it out of the ocean, and then I guess they're going to see what kind of data it's picked up. But the Chinese are sticking to the story about it being
well, they're not obviously going to say.
Yeah, you know? But apparently, like, I don't know how true this is. That's just what I heard. They were saying, like, some U.S. military commander was saying that there was at least 3 under President Trump, and this is not the first one under Biden. This is like, yeah, I guess they didn't know about it until recently, and like they have some holes in their system or something.
Well, yeah, obviously they're not going to tell us everything. If you trust the government to be telling you everything, then
you're tripping. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's what they were saying, that this is not the first time they've done this, and they even have one in Latin America right now, and there's been a couple sighted all over the world. Mm-hmm.
The stuff in Russia and Ukraine, and it's like all occupied with that, but like low key we're going into like a second Cold War with China because of all that like spy stuff that they're doing, and it's just small stuff keeps accumulating, and it's like we have to worry about Russia. From all the news stuff that I've been hearing is like we have to worry about Russia and everything, but like the real problem is like China and all their surveillance and everything. And I mean, like, we only hear so much, and since the Chinese government controls like basically everything in China, it's like hard to get a good story of like what's going on.
To me, honestly, it just doesn't really make sense. Like, why countries can't leave each other alone? Like, it just doesn't make sense why they need to impede or spy or do something. Like, everybody just left everybody alone.
I think as an American, that's the last question we should be asking other countries, because it's
well, I mean, okay, like
we never.
Me, I'm talking about like just me personally, like the way I see it.
They found some oil in Australia, and like, hey, you want some freedom?
But
let me help you out.
That goes for our government too. Like, bro, leave people alone. Like, fuck, all this unnecessary ass stuff. The world's been in peace, I think, a total of 8 years in the existence of all these countries.
Well, like
that's ridiculous. Y'all need to grow up and get it together.
Well, it's just like it's the same thing as old as time, man. Everybody's looking out for their own interests, and
yeah, I know, but we need to be better. It's 2023.
Well, as the years go on, I mean, if you look at our like House of Representatives and our Senate, like the average age is like 70s, 60s. Like it's up there.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying bad or anything, but when everybody eventually passes, you know, from old age or whatever have you, and there's like newer people that get voted in, I think that's when we'll see some stuff change. Like, let's see, we're like mid-20s ish, so it'll take probably 30 more years.
But I was thinking about that too. Like, with
I doubt that it's going to be the same type of like administration calls and stuff.
But we need to cap it though, even for our age group.
What do you mean?
So like right now, like it's the older generation in charge making all this stuff, right? With them not having a cap, we're just gonna be stepping into that role, and our ideas are not the same as this younger generation's ideas. Like we're still gonna be behind, you know, to a degree with like, you know, I guess relations and the way the world's kind of moving.
Well, I think
because we're gonna be stuck in our ways as well. I think even though like we're growing a lot, like our generation, we're accepting a lot of different things this older generation doesn't accept. It's gonna be the same thing when we start to creep up on that age, and this younger generation is gonna be our age. Like, this is stupid. Why are they doing this?
I think everybody's like that. Like, oh, kids nowadays, like this world's going to hell.
Yeah.
And like everybody's been saying that for the longest, and it's just like that's kind of like an old thing to do. It's just like you get older, and obviously
I think if we can put a cap like on the House of Representatives and stuff, like you can only do 2 to 3 term limits.
Well, it's like the Supreme Court. Like you get that job for life.
Yeah,
like you literally until you die.
That's crazy.
That is a wild concept.
That's crazy.
Like you can say all this stuff and you can lie, or I'm not saying that people have that are in Supreme Court now. I couldn't even tell you one, to be honest. But it's there. I can't think of a single job that would benefit from someone having it forever.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine that. There's no like terms at all. Like you just, I don't understand. Someone lives who's 90 something years old, and you're going to tell me that they have the best interest for the majority of Americans. Like their idea of what normal life is so far away from like the average person now and their problems and, you know, their generation. It's like, what, 2 generation difference? Like how?
If they don't know how to use a Roku or a Fire Stick, you can't be in office, bro. Like, that's the kind of the cap we got to start putting on shit. For reals. Because think about it. Like, that's crazy. You can run a state or, you know, have that kind of power, but like you don't know the simplest things of like what this generation and what this time is, you know, like working with,
or like
they're just out of touch.
The wants and needs of like, so in the most basic concept, we elect officials to have our interest of the people, and then, you know, we say go vote on this as a majority who wants X, Y, and Z, right? But if you're like someone in the Supreme Court right now is like 70, 80 up there, like that's 40, 50 years at least of difference in, you know, life experience. But I mean, just your brain can't function at the highest level at that age. It's just a fact. Like you just, there's no way you can tell me that person in who's at that current age, let's say 70s, is in the same headspace and 100% function as someone who's in their 30s. There's a reason why there's an age limit, like a minimal age limit to be president. I think it's 34. It could be 36. I'm not sure. But it's like you have to have a certain amount of experience and maturity in order to be, you know, what's the proper term? The it's not head of state, but the commander in chief.
Oh yeah.
And I think that if it's like you need a certain age to be, you know, 34 or 36 to have that life experience, there should be a cutoff. So you, like,
even like with the commander in chief,
why can you have someone who's like 80 years old be president? Like, how much? Perfect example. If only we had somebody who wasn't running 100% as president right now. Like, come on. Like, you look at that and you're like, this is it's whether you agree or disagree with like his belief. Like, I'm not even saying his policies or what he's saying, just as like a person who is in charge of something. Not even a Republican. I don't care about Republican or Democrat or stuff like that. You trust that man to make decisions for an entire country?
That boy got borderline Alzheimer's.
Like if that if someone that age and was operating with that mental attitude, he was in charge of like, hey, I'm gonna pay you my half of rent. Make sure it gets paid on time. You think that that's gonna happen every single month to put that person in charge of paying my rent so I don't end up home? Like, if that's the minimum amount of responsibility, you think, like, come on.
I could be president if that's the case,
dude.
But like, honestly, I'm not saying dictatorship is right, but like dictatorship, I understand it sometimes.
It's a slippery slope, man.
It's a very slippery slope, but it's like, bro, some of these people don't fall in line. It's like, bro, like y'all got to get it together. But like power changes, like you can't have that, obviously, because you know power changes, man. So we kind of have the steps.
Yeah, we have. I know. Just wait till we get like at least 1,000 views, and then boy.
sometimes I see it. Sometimes I see it. It's just like, all right, that makes major sense.
And I could do a whole different, like, I don't know how many hours talking just about the political system and like I said, not even like Republican or Democrat or who's right or who's wrong. It's just like the setup. And when the average person commits a crime, you know, they look into it and it's like, all right, you're guilty. But it takes so much overwhelming evidence to even get a slap on the wrist. Like, if you look at, what is it, the Senate, the House of Representatives, or, you know, the president, their salaries are like a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
But they're worth like hundreds of millions of dollars.
All the insider trading and bribes.
Like, you don't see a problem with that? If the IRS came and looked at my stuff right now and said he makes $70,000 a year, but in his bank account it has $5 million, they would be at my door the next day.
Yeah, definitely. They want that cut.
Exactly. And it's wild, man. Our system is wild. Our forefathers in 1776 had a great insight to put all the base level laws and system in place, and it's one of the strongest examples of democracy, you know, going all the way back to like the Greeks. And it's like anything else is a flawed system, but the gap between what people have and what people don't have, and the people who are making all decisions and people who have little power, the gap just gets wider and wider.
Well, because they're out of touch too, because of how rich they are and the benefits they have in life. They can't relate to.
Have you ever seen I don't remember what interview it was, but like, it's not even about politics or power. It's just like money in general. When Bill Gates did like an interview, it was like a long time ago, like 10 years, 20 years. And they asked him like, what do you think the price of a banana is? Like a single banana. And he said like $9 or something like that. Like, if you don't understand how that is a problem, that someone that rich can have such a discrepancy on like a basic food or a basic like problem that normal people have, something ain't right.
When you have like, you know, these PTA parents that like really care about like their kids and stuff like that, that's the kind of people that should be in charge. Like people who just not trying to get paid, who are actually trying to get stuff done. Yeah, but because there's few and many, but like there's people out there who legitimately care.
Well, that's the whole
about
point
problems
of being a representative for the people. It's supposed to be a public service.
Yeah, these assholes.
It's supposed to be a selfless thing that you do for the greater good, and that is like so far. I don't know. It was 2 years ago, probably 2.5 years, when we were talking about voting and how it matters and the election coming up. So I contacted every single one of my elected officials when it was down to like the city mayor, and then, you know, the governor, the House of Representative for Texas, the president, like all the way from the lowest to low to the bottom, who represents me, every single person in that file. And I got one email back from the actual person. It was someone in the mayor's office when I lived in Arlington, and they were interested and wrote me back like a couple days later, which I appreciated. And then there was like some assistant governor whose PR team like emailed me and was curious about it, but like that's the last I heard. And then that's it. So it's like trying to have your voice, and even if they give you the time of considering what you have to say, like even if it's in an email, like it's not easy to set up. It's not. And unless you make like a big public outcry, that's why like people are recording and stuff goes viral and then some action happens. Like for an example, like police problems. Personally, I'm a big supporter of the police, and you know, just being a first responder, seeing what they have to deal with is crazy. It's wild, and the responsibility that they have. But like, there are others who have some form of power, and then they abuse it, just like anything else in any type of system where you have power. Whether it's like your boss telling you what you can and can't do, you know, it's like anytime you have power, it has a possibility to corrupt. And unless something goes viral or enough people make it a problem that should be known, nothing really happens. One single average person could do something wrong, they get like 10, 15 years, like just a simple, I'm not saying a petty crime, like any crime is petty, but like a robbery. And then you get like 10, 15 years. Like, that's wild. And then someone who's in power can do like something crazy, like insider trading, gain millions of dollars, scam people out of, you know, I don't know how much money, like average people. And then like, you have to have a overwhelming, like hundreds of thousands, millions of people to look into it before they even consider seeing if something's like, it's Palacio. I wasn't naming names. But yeah, that's just one topic that gets me heated, because it's like I try to look at stuff from a logical standpoint, and if everybody's supposed to be equal under the eyes of the law, but obviously that is not the case. It's not even close. Like, just how much power and money influences everything. Like, it was a couple years ago, but that kid who like was drunk driving, or he was intoxicated and like killed a bunch of people, and they used the defense that he is so rich that he didn't understand the responsibility.
Is it the one that like took off to Mexico?
Yeah, it was the one who took off to Mexico. And like, how is that a thing? Like, you can use the excuse like, oh, I've been privileged my whole life, so I don't understand.
Insanity.
Breaking the law is a problem.
It's some type of privilege, I'll tell you that.
Dude, it's wild. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for this episode. If you've made it this long, we appreciate you guys so much for just listening. You know, obviously, if you like us talking about, you know, whatever, just shooting the shit, give us a like, subscribe, send it to anyone you think it would be interested. We just appreciate you watching, to be honest. We love doing this every week. It's dope. So we'll leave you to it, guys. We appreciate you guys watching. Peace.